Second lecture of magnetic effect of current, we are going to discuss the Biot-Savart's law. This is the basic law of magnetic effect of current, and we are going to discuss this. In our previous lecture, we have seen that Oersted in his experiment successfully showed that a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around its neighborhood, and it was also seen that a magnetic field exerts a force on a moving charge or a current in the field. Now, from the Oersted experiment, although it was successfully shown that a current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field around its neighborhood, but the amount of magnetic field generated due to a current carrying element was not quantitatively determined. In this purpose, Biot and Savart in 1820 deduced an expression for the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. For understanding this one, how a magnetic field is generated, first of all, we have to know about what is called current element. The magnetic field generated in this process can be assumed to be formed by the contribution from every segment of the conducting wire, and each segment are termed as current element. As we can see, this is a conducting wire. The magnetic field generated by this complete wire can be assumed by formation of magnetic field due to the contribution from every segment. Here, look, it is shown by a red arrow at the segment of the conducting wire, and each of these segments are called the current element. Biot and Savart in 1820 first deduced the expression for magnetic field due to this current element. Now, here a current carrying on conducting wire is shown. DL is the current element. A current I is flowing as shown by this arrow. The direction of the current is shown. And the point P where we are going to obtain the magnetic field, which is shown by dB. The field is designated by dB, and the small amount, so it is written as dB. So here DL is the current element of the conducting wire through which a current I flows in the direction as shown. dB is the magnetic field, and the R is the position vector from the current element to the point P where the field is to be determined. And the theta is the angle between the current element DL and the field vector R. By performing the experiment, Biot-Savart concluded the magnetic field at the point P. This cross mark we are going to discuss later. And first of all, these four propositions were made. The first one is that the magnetic field at the point P is directly proportional to the current I, which is flowing through this conducting wire. The second proposition says that the magnetic field at the point P is directly proportional to the length of the current element, which is DL. The magnetic field at point P is directly proportional to the sine of the angle theta between DL and R. The angle between DL and R is theta, and the magnetic field is proportional to the sine of theta. And the last one is the magnetic field dB is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the point P and current element, which is R square. So dB proportional to 1 by R square, inversely proportional. So by combining these four, we can write from the Biot-Savart's law that dB is proportional to I dl sine theta by R square. As it was proportional to I, proportional to dl, proportional to sine theta, and inversely proportional to 1 by R square, we can write it as dB is proportional to I dl sine theta by R square. So dB is equal to some constant k into ideal sine theta by r square. Here the value of the constant k depends upon the medium where we are going to obtain the magnetic field and also the system of unit which we are using. For SI system, this k is nothing but mu0 by 4 pi volume, where mu0 is called the permeability of free space, the value of which is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 in SI unit. The unit is shown here. And dB can now be written as mu0 by 4 pi ideal sine theta by r square. So this is the expression of magnetic field obtained from Biot-Savart's law. So now the second case, as we know that magnetic field is a vector quantity, the value, the magnitude of the magnetic field is determined from the Biot-Savart's law, and how to determine the direction of the magnetic field at point P. So it can be easily determined. Some laws are there, and from this is Maxwell Corkscrew rule, right hand thumb rule. The right hand thumb rule is discussed here. It is a very much useful and very easy. The right hand thumb rule says that suppose this is the conducting wire, this blue line, and if we hold a straight conductor in the grip of our right hand, remember that it is right hand, in such a manner that the thumb, our thumb is always pointing to the direction of current. Look here, the thumb is pointing to the direction of current. Then the direction of curl of the rest of the finger, look here, the rest of the fingers are curling in this fashion. Then the direction of curl of the rest of the fingers will point to the direction of magnetic field. So here the curl of these fingers are pointing to the direction of the magnetic field. So by using this rule, in this case, in this particular case, if we hold this wire in our right by our right hand and put our thumb along the direction of the current, then we can say that the direction of magnetic field in this point P will be perpendicular to the plane of the paper, and it will be into the plane of the paper. Look here, if we hold it through our right hand thumb in this fashion, our fingers are pointing into the page. So it is marked by cross. So the magnetic field at this point P is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and it is pointing into the plane of the paper. So it is marked by the cross here. So this was about Biot-Savart's law. Now what is the vector form of Biot-Savart's law? From the right hand thumb rule, it is clear that the magnetic field at point P, the dB, is perpendicular to the plane containing dl and r. So from here we can say that if dl and r is in this plane, in the plane of this screen, then the magnetic field is perpendicular to it and it is into the plane. It is into the, it is directed perpendicular to the plane of this screen. And here theta is the angle between dl and r. We have the general form of the Biot-Savart's law, dB is mu0 by 4 pi ideal sine theta by r square. Now, if we want to write it in vector form, there will be a vector sign over here. Okay, it is not given here. dB vector will be mu0 I by 4 pi. And if r cap is a unit vector along the field vector r, then we can write dl sine theta as dl cross r cap, because we know this dl cross r cap will give us mod of dl, that is dl, mod of r cap, it is unit vector sine theta. So dl sine theta can be written as dl cross r cap divided by r square. So this is the vector form of the Biot-Savart's law. Now, as we know from our knowledge of electrostatics, that Coulomb law is the basic law of electrostatics, and here Biot-Savart's law in magnetism, in the magnetic effect of current, is the basic law, and the Coulomb law is given by E. The electric field is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square. Suppose the charge Q is there at the point P. If we are going to obtain the expression of the electric field E, then at point P, the electric field will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square, where Q is the charge and r is the distance of the point P from the charge. and r cap is a unit vector, and epsilon 0 is the permittivity of free space. And from Biot-Savart's law, you know the dB vector, it is a vector. The vector sign is missing here. So it is mu 0 I by 4 pi dl cross r cap by r square. But what are the similarities and dissimilarities between them? From this two expression, both are proportional to 1 by r square. So we can say that both this electric and magnetic field are long range. They are inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the source and the point of observation. Both are proportional to 1 by r square. And the principle of superposition of vector field, that is for electrostatic field E, electric field and magnetic field, both are applicable. In both the cases, the principle of superposition is applicable. And what are the dissimilarities? As we know from our knowledge of electrostatics, that the direction of E is always along the vector joining the source charge and the point of observation. While the direction of magnetic field, as we have just seen, that it is perpendicular to the plane of the paper containing the current element and the vector r, and it is perpendicular to this plane. It is pointing into the plane. So we can say that direction of E is along the vector joining the source charge and the point of observation, while the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane containing the current element and displacement vector. And the electric field is produced by a scalar source charge. Source of electric charge is a scalar source electric charge, while the magnetic field is produced by a vector, which is the current element. This current element is a vector quantity. So these are the similarities and dissimilarities between the Biot-Savart's law and Coulomb's law.